Wife said, "We need to reconnect," but her new guy already had my Netflix password. Do you have any idea what it feels like to hear the person you've built your life with tell you that you need to reconnect? It's not even the word itself, it's the way she said it. Calm, gentle, like she was the therapist diagnosing a problem, and I was the broken patient. And at first I thought maybe she was right. Maybe I'd been distant, maybe work had chewed up too much of my attention. Maybe I'd forgotten to notice the small things, like how she changed her hair color, or the way she always tucked her legs under her on the couch. So I agreed. I told her, "Yeah, you're right. Let's reconnect. Let's do date nights again. Let's cook together. Let's do the little things that make us, us." She smiled at me like I was a kid who finally understood a math problem after staring at the numbers too long. But here's the thing, reconnection isn't just words. It's not just saying you'll do better, it's actually showing up. And I tried. I really did. I shut down my laptop at 6 instead of 10. I bought tickets to that cooking class she'd once mentioned in passing. I even dusted off the old playlist we used to drive around to, back when life felt like an endless summer, and for a while I thought it was working. She'd laugh again. She'd touch my arm more. She'd sit a little closer on the couch, and in my head I thought, this is it. We're finding our way back. Until one night she left her phone on the counter, screen glowing, while she went to shower. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. But when a notification lights up in the corner of your eye, your instincts betray you. It wasn't even a text. It was a Netflix notification. Your profile was recently used to continue watching in another location. Another location, at 11 p.m. I clicked it open, and that's when I saw it. My account, my carefully curated profiles, my recommendations, my watch history, all tampered with. There was a new profile, bold letters, his name, not guest, not extra, his actual name, like he owned the place. And the kicker, he was halfway through a series I'd been saving to watch with her. The same series she told me she wasn't in the mood for. So there I was, standing in the kitchen, heart thudding, staring at my own Netflix account as if it had betrayed me. And in a way it had. Because here's what you need to understand. It's not about the Netflix. It's about the audacity. It's about the way she was building a new life, not even bothering to hide it, right under my nose. She wanted reconnection, but she'd already given him my digital key. She'd already handed over the password that we used like a secret handshake, the one we joked about never sharing with anyone else. I stood there, paralyzed, the sound of the shower running in the background, and I thought, what do I do? Do I confront her? Do I play dumb and gather more proof? Do I change the password and watch her scramble? I didn't do any of those things, not that night. Instead, I poured myself a glass of whiskey, sat on the couch and stared at the TV like it was mocking me. His profile stared back, taunting me. When she came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her, she smiled. "Want to watch something?" The nerve of that, the absolute nerve. I forced a smile and said, "Sure, you pick." She grabbed the remote, flicked past his profile without even flinching, and clicked on ours like nothing was wrong. But the image of his name burned in my head the entire time. I couldn't even tell you what we watched. All I remember is sitting there, her leaning against me, while my insides twisted like barbed wire. That night when she fell asleep, I stayed up scrolling through the account activity. He was everywhere. Episodes half-watched, movies queued, genres I didn't even touch showing up in the because you watched section. He wasn't just using the account, he was settling in, like he belonged. And that's when I realized something horrifying. He wasn't just in my Netflix, he was in my marriage. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. Every laugh she gave me felt rehearsed. Every touch felt like a cover-up. And every time she said the word reconnect, it sounded less like hope and more like guilt dressed up in pretty clothes. But I couldn't accuse her. Not yet, because accusations without proof make you look paranoid. And I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of dismissing me as the jealous husband. No. If she wanted fire, if she wanted drama, she wasn't going to get it from me. Not on her terms. So I started digging. Not just the Netflix account, the phone bills, the little gaps in her schedule, the night she said she was going for a drive to clear her head. I wasn't looking for passion anymore. I was looking for cracks. And once you start looking for cracks, you see them everywhere. One night she left her laptop open. Messages, not emails, DMs, social media, him, always him, sweet words, little jokes, plans for shows they'd binge together. I wanted to scream. I wanted to slam the laptop shut and throw it out the window. But instead, I read. Carefully, slowly. Every word was another needle in my skin, and that's when the thought hit me. If he was already watching my shows, what else of mine did he have? That was the first time I felt the shift inside me. That was the moment I stopped being the man trying to save his marriage, and started being the man plotting how to burn it down from the inside. You ever have that feeling that somebody is living in your house without paying rent? Not literally, but in your head, in your space, in your routines. That's what it felt like after I saw his name glowing on my Netflix screen. like this stranger had already moved in, claiming the small, stupid pieces of my life that were supposed to be sacred. It wasn't about the streaming service, it was about the principle. I didn't even know his face yet, and already he was eating off my plate. And the worst part, she knew. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You don't give a man your husband's password by accident. You don't let someone carve their name into your shared account without knowing exactly what you're doing. That's not absent-mindedness, that's intention. That's an announcement without saying the words. So I became an investigator in my own house. I started noticing the way she guarded her phone more closely, how she'd angle the screen away when she was typing. I noticed the sudden bursts of laughter at nothing when she was in another room. I noticed the perfume she wore on the nights she said she was just grabbing dinner with a friend. I didn't call her out yet. I kept playing the role. Husband, partner, reconnector, and it was torture, because every smile she gave me felt like a lie rehearsed in front of a mirror. But I told myself, patience, don't strike until you know where to hit. One Friday night, I finally decided to test the waters. We were on the couch, wine glasses in hand, pretending like we weren't two strangers in the same house. I said casually, "Hey, did you notice there's a new profile on our Netflix?" She froze for half a second, just half, but I caught it. Then she shrugged. "Oh yeah, I thought you made that for work friends or something." That's when I knew. That's when I absolutely knew. Because the name wasn't some random username. It was Matt, plain and simple. Who the hell makes a profile for work friends and names it after one person? So I played dumb. Nah, not me. Weird though, right? Maybe Netflix glitched. And she nodded too quickly, sipped her wine and changed the subject. That night, after she fell asleep, I went back on the account and scrolled through his watch history, and something inside me cracked. He wasn't just watching shows, he was watching our shows. The movies we'd saved in my list to watch together. He was halfway through them, the series we'd made a tradition of re-watching every winter. He was already 5 episodes deep. It was like he'd walked into my living room, sat on my couch, and replaced me one click at a time. And you know what the sickest part was? She must have told him. She must have shared those details, because nobody stumbles onto those exact shows without being guided. That realization hit me like a sucker punch. Not only was she with him, she was giving him the roadmap of us. I started fantasizing about petty revenge, changing the password in the middle of his binge, renaming his profile Homewrecker or Enjoy My Leftovers. I even thought about canceling the subscription altogether, but then I stopped. No, that was too easy, too obvious, too small. If she thought this was a game, I wasn't going to play defense. I was going to take the ball and run with it. So I dug deeper. I started keeping tabs on the Wi-Fi log. Don't laugh, but you'd be surprised what kind of digital footprints people leave behind. His phone had been on our Wi-Fi. I saw the device name. He wasn't just stealing my shows. He had been here, in my house. Probably sitting in the same chair I was sitting in when I discovered him. I can't even describe the rage that boiled in me. It wasn't the quiet kind. It was volcanic, seething. The kind that makes your hands shake when you try to hold a glass. But I didn't explode. Not yet. Because I realized something. If he was in my house, then my house could also be his undoing. I set up a camera. Nothing fancy. Just one of those cheap motion-activated ones disguised as a charger. I put it in the living room, angled perfectly at the couch, and then I waited. The first time I caught them together on that camera, I swear my heart stopped. There they were, laughing, eating takeout, feet tangled like it was their living room. He even leaned over and asked for the remote like it was his, and she gave it to him, my wife, handing another man my remote like she was handing him the throne. I didn't confront them, I didn't storm in, I didn't yell or scream, I just saved the footage, because proof speaks louder than anger. Proof can't be gaslit or twisted, proof is undeniable. And from that moment, I stopped thinking like a husband, and started thinking like an executioner. When people talk about betrayal, they always describe it in the moment they find out. But let me tell you something. Betrayal doesn't just live in that moment. It echoes, it seeps into every little corner of your life. It makes you second-guess your own memories. I'd look at wedding photos and think, was she faking the smile even then? I'd replay our late-night conversations and wonder, who else was she texting under the covers? Betrayal rewrites your past while it ruins your present. And yet through all that noise, one thought kept me steady. I had the footage. I had the proof. And with proof comes power. I didn't blow up at her right away. I let her keep playing her role, thinking I was still in the dark. I let him keep using my account, laughing at my shows, sitting in my chair. Because the longer they thought they were safe, the sharper the knife would feel when I twisted it. The opportunity came sooner than I expected. Our anniversary. She suggested dinner out, just the two of us. A chance to reconnect, she said, those same poisoned words. I agreed. I dressed up, smiled, played the role of the doting husband. And halfway through dessert, I pulled out my phone, slid it across the table, and pressed play. The footage lit up the screen. Them, on my couch. Her laughing, him leaning into her neck, her feeding him popcorn. She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. color draining from her face. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I just said, "You wanted reconnection. Here's what I connected." For the first time, she had no words, no excuses, just silence. And in that silence, I felt the shift of power tilt back to me. I didn't drag the scene out. I didn't make a spectacle. I just stood, dropped some cash on the table, and walked out. She followed me, calling my name, begging me to wait, but I didn't turn around. The next day, I changed everything. Netflix password, Wi-Fi password, bank accounts, locks. It wasn't about keeping him out anymore. It was about reclaiming what was mine. Piece by piece, I erased him from my life the way he'd tried to erase me from my own marriage. And you know what? It worked. Not because I got her back. I didn't want her back. But because for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt clarity, clean air, silence that didn't ache. She left soon after, packed her bags, moved out, probably straight into his place. I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't need to, because betrayal is like a fire. You don't put it out by chasing sparks. You let it burn until it's gone. Then you rebuild on the ashes. Do I still think about it sometimes? Of course. Do I still imagine him laughing at my shows, holding my remote, wearing the smug grin of a man who thought he'd won? Yeah. But then I remember the look on her face when she saw that footage at the restaurant, the way her whole world collapsed in a single moment. And that memory is enough. That's mine. That's the password nobody else will ever have. So when people ask me about passion, about reconnection, about love, I tell them this: don't waste your energy trying to reconnect with someone who's already logged into somebody else's account. Because if they're watching a different show behind your back, they were never really invested in yours to begin with. And me, I started fresh. New passwords, new locks, new life, no shared accounts, no shared lies. Because if there's one thing I learned, it's this: once somebody gives away your password, they've already given away more than you'll ever get back.